I'm trying to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. There's still a lot of people out there that have not seen this movie, but please do bear in mind, I'm talking about some themes and things that I think are important to the franchise and where this thing went. Okay, so I'm standing up for this video because I saw Star Wars The Last Jedi Thursday night opening. I went right from work, right after work, got sat down, was settled, and yeah, I've got things to say. Thinking about the whole trilogy, the prequels, and now this new entry in the series, it's a lot to take in, but this movie had my mind blown. Like, literally, it just blew away every expectation I had. Whether that be good or bad, it did things that well, quite frankly, I did not expect.
This is not going to go the way you think.
I knew something was up the minute the movie started. And it's not to say that the movie just totally felt unlike Star Wars. You still get the credit scroll, you still get the classic pan down, the music crescendo, mood setting. Then after a certain event in the beginning, you literally realize that this is a direct continuation from the last one. Like all the other entries, it's like years later, undisclosed period of time later after the last one. Time has passed. And this one, it is literally like right after. I literally watched episode 7 the night before as a refresher, not that I needed it, and it literally kind of just picks right up where it is. That kind of blew my mind. The only other movie that's been known to do that was Rogue One going straight into episode 4, which was really cool. But then this one literally just goes right into it. You're always sitting there in a Star Wars experience, and the credits are scrolling, the credit roll, and you're like, the text is there, and you're just kind of reading, and then you're like, okay, so now this has happened and transpired, and this has set up our characters. Now this is still continuing on. Like, that's one thing that immediately caught my attention. I was like, okay, that's actually really different. Then this is where I'm just going to spoil one little thing. I'm not going to get into any other big, huge spoilers, but if you remember, at the end The Force Awakens, Rey has a lightsaber and she's like, and Luke's like, and Rey's like, our brains have been boiling and stewing. Like, what's he gonna say? It's Luke fucking Skywalker. What's he gonna say? What's he gonna say? Instead, it's... What? That is really what you're doing with your old lightsaber, Luke. Really. Like, okay, so that immediately set the tone for me. And not in a comedic way. It was kind of funny and people laughed in the theater. But it set the tone. Those two things, the continuation and that moment, set the tone for me that said, hey, this movie is not going to play out the way you think it is.
This is not going to go the way you think.
And that is kind of a theme that this movie has. That and a theme on failure. Themes on failure and themes on things that you don't think are going to go the way they do. This takes stuff in the Star Wars lore and what we've thought we've known and and our expectations of what we think we're getting with this one, because, the way the other formulas of the other movies are, and it just goes, nope, 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 no. Different path. We are not doing a simple retread of everything. That's not to say that there aren't nods to the other franchise. I'd say there's huge nods to The Empire Strikes Back in this. Almost like in a reverse order if you really think about it. Don't want to dive again too much into that. Man, this movie, almost every step of the way, there was things that were happening that I was like, I didn't think that was happening. This was happening. I didn't think, wow, and wow. Like, I'm still thinking about this movie. And I'm not to say that Star Wars movies don't have you thinking. Star Wars movies have always been kind of like, cool, this is fun, this is epic, this is nice. And you get out of the theater and you're like, all right, I enjoyed that, I enjoyed that, right? This one, it's been, 2 days now for the most part, and I'm still thinking about it, and it seems the more I think about it, the more I like it. The more I like how Star Wars The Force Awakens was kind of this familiarity. It kind of had a very similar feeling of, person that gets discovered on a desert planet and ends up becoming something more than they ever thought they could be. And again, it just kind of, the Millennium Falcon's involved, and classic characters, and they're building you up like this is familiar, and which was one thing that The Force Awakens was heavily criticized on. And then The Last Jedi comes out and goes, putting my foot down, saying, nope. That's the best way to put it. That's all I can say is that, like, This movie just at one point in time just kept escalating and escalating and escalating on things happening that I was like, this did not just happen in the movie. Yes, it did. Something else happened. This did not just happen. Yes, it did. This movie makes me so excited for not only episode 9, but the future trilogies and extensions of said franchise in whichever direction they want to take it. This takes your expectations and your thoughts, and I get it. Like, I understand. Don't get me wrong. If you walked into this movie and you absolutely hated it because it didn't live up to the hype, it didn't live up to your expectations, I get it. That's disappointing. And I understand because I was kind of right there with you at first. I was kind of like, this is just, what is going on? Like, halfway through the movie, I'm like, okay, I am on board with all these changes and things that are happening. And then the last, like, 30, 40 minutes, and I walked out of that theater super, like, just excited for the franchise. I've loved all of the movies to an extent. I have issues with some of the prequels, but in a sense, I feel like the prequels bring up the regular original trilogy. Like, for example, the Emperor. You didn't know anything about the Emperor in the original franchise. Like, he's just some old guy who's like, hey, I control everything. You didn't really know much about him, and I could go into more of that and why I think this kind of relates to this one, but again, I don't want to spoil things for you that haven't seen it. But it wasn't a big deal. It was kind of like, he just is the bad guy. He wasn't the focal point of the Star Wars franchise. It was basically Luke, Vader, and the whole situation with those people, Leia and Han Solo, Chewbacca. The prequels come out, and while, there's a lot of hate on the prequels, I've still enjoyed most of them. I still don't like Attack of the Clones the most. Revenge of the Sith is badass, and Phantom Menace is kind of 50-50 for me. But the prequels did one thing I absolutely loved. They showed and gave us a reason for what the Emperor was doing and how he manipulated everything and got everything to flow into his hands. And that, to me, is worth the prequels alone. Is just building that up so that when you rewatch the original trilogy, things make more sense, and it just makes more sense how things came to be. So now we're left at this moment where we are now in the middle of a 3-arc storyline. We've seen the intro, we're in the middle act, and we have the final act to come in 2 years from now. There's going to be questions unanswered. There's going to be things that they brought up in the first that they didn't give us the answer in this one, or that they didn't give us the answer we wanted. And don't let me say that I had expectations for things to get answered in this, and they didn't, or they got answered in a way that I was like, what? But I'm okay with it. Like, there are still options or possibilities for what the third movie can do, what it can add to it, and honestly, I look at this franchise, this new trilogy, as the story of Kylo and Rey. Their story and the Force around them. That's what I see this trilogy as, and so I am super happy with this. This franchise continually blows me away. I started as a kid, went into my teenage years, now I'm a full-ass grown man with a family, and I still love Star Wars to this day. Can't wait to see the next one. The question is, what did you all think? It's very controversial, it's a lot of opinions, there's a lot of anger going out there. Remember, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering, so just remember that as a Star Wars fan. I mean, what did you not like about it? But be careful of spoilers. Let's just kind of do an overall general consensus of things. Don't have to pick and pinpoint, or if you'd like to actually PM me, I'm fine with that too, and let's have a discussion. So there's no right or wrong reason on these movie reviews or thoughts or opinions. Everyone is, got their own opinion, and that's great. But discussion, and maybe, you might not like the movie and then have a discussion with me and go, I didn't think about that. Or maybe you'll bring something to light that I go, I didn't really, you're right. I didn't really care about that either, so that kind of lowers my opinion of it overall, But I've had time to think of a lot of things, talk to a lot of people, and so far I'm still on the high. It could come down a little bit, but I really, really liked it. I will say, let me step in, because, I'm praising the movie. There are sometimes things that, I think no matter how much you like a movie, there are things you can point out that maybe that could have been done better, or maybe this was different. I love the humor in the movie, I do. And I think most of the Star Wars movies are known for the humor. Did I feel there was just a tad too much humor in this one? Maybe. I still haven't figured it out. I need to watch it actually a few times before I can figure that out. Because there's humor across the whole franchise. The thing for me is that in movies, if humor is involved, that's fine. But humor should not be anywhere involved in things that are super important. And this movie kind of almost crosses that boundary. There are moments where it's like, that humor was there. I don't know if it should have actually been there right at that moment. But again, I'm still mulling that over, and I need to watch it again to see how that all fits. But other than that, that's my major complaint. That's really my major nitpick. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Did Star Wars blow your mind? Are you super excited for the next one? I wonder how the next standalone movie will be about Han Solo. I guess time will tell. But right now, we're getting a movie every year. So we've got one more for the main series, the main trilogy, the new trilogy. I can't be more excited. So take care. Thanks for watching. If you like this, please hit subscribe and get the notifications. And until that, next time, see you in the inbox. I'm out of here. Later.